Special thanks to all our patrons who support the show every single week. We couldn't do it without you. Head over to patreon.com/run eat drink podcast and subscribe today for bonus content, exclusive happy hour, and more. Patrons, you help keep the Run Eat Drink podcast going.
We're trying to figure out this new streaming thing here real quick, guys. Give us just a second here.
Yeah. Oh, Cheryl and Rhonda Lee.
All right, I think I've got it. I got it. Y'all are going to have to let us know. We're trying a new streaming solution for Instagram in 2024. So let's see if we've got this working now. Okay. So I'm going to count us down. And
Record here too.
well, of course, I'm going to record her.
Backups are great. Okay.
Of course, I'm going to record.
Rhonda Lee says, "Yay, sound."
All right. I think I got it. Let's see what's up here.
And so does Josh.
All right. Let's give it a shot.
Let's give it a shot. Special thanks to all our patrons who support the show every single week. We couldn't do it without you. Head over to patreon.com/run eat drink podcast and subscribe today for bonus content, exclusive happy hour live chats, and more. Patrons, you help keep the Run Eat Drink podcast going. We're so grateful for you. Not a patron yet? Join us today at patreon.com/run eat drink podcast. Help support the show by using our Amazon affiliate link. Anytime you shop on Amazon for running gear, food, beverages, or anything else the little gray trucks might bring your way, just use runeatdrink.net/Amazon anytime you shop. It costs nothing extra. It's only one extra click, and it helps us keep the lights on and the bandwidth flowing. Just go to runeatdrink.net/Amazon, and we thank you for your support.
Hi everyone, it's Matt Plesky, the Boston Marathon, New York City Marathon champion, and Olympic silver medalist, and you are listening to Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We feature destination races from across the country. And after the race, we take you on a tour of the best local food and beverage to celebrate. So whether you are an elite runner or a back-to-the-packer like us, you'll know the best places to accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Hey, welcome to episode 271 of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana. And we're doing it
Live.
Welcome to the live stream. If you are able to see us and hear us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram in a new experimental...
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gotten really early.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize
I'm
to our
sorry,
listeners
Runcation Nation.
who might need an audiologist now. No,
you might need a hearing aid.
We're hoping that the new live streaming solution is going to work for us so that we can bring you all of the running, eating, and drinking that there is to talk about across all three major platforms
We're
in
hoping so.
2024.
Can you drop us comments? Yes,
Let us
please.
know how we sound, who you are, where you're from, and what you're drinking.
Yes.
We would love to know.
I'm monitoring the comments on Instagram just in case
Okay.
they don't transfer over to StreamYard because this whole connection with our streaming
Is new.
platform is brand spanking new.
Yes,
So thank you for helping us be pioneers or you being pioneers yourselves and helping us test this.
absolutely. I'm excited. We haven't been in a live stream in a minute. It's been a little bit of time, but we're
Yeah.
glad to be back.
And I just want to say we picked the perfect week to come back. I do have to say, I mean, I'm jumping ahead a little bit to shout outs, but today was the 5K at the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend.
Ah,
And so I know many of our listeners are there and getting ready to run their best races. So,
and for many, running one of several races if they're doing one of the big challenges for the challenge weekend.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. So, Rhonda Lee says, make a mental note to mute for the first few minutes when she plays back the episode in the podcast feed to mute my squeal. Yeah,
We
and
will fix it in post,
mhm, yes,
as the podcast professionals like to say.
and Chris Twig says, "Hello from the parking lot leaving the Disney Marathon Expo."
Very nice. Hello,
Yeah,
Chris.
Julia's here, Rhonda Lee is here, um, her name is Rhonda. She is the international pink-haired princess in honor of Marathon Weekend. She's enjoying margarita.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, and if anybody is listening to this episode, usually we will ask everybody in a live stream who you are, where you're from, and what you're drinking. So, Chris Twiggs has told us where he is coming from, although where he not maybe he's not from, right? And thank you, Josh, for letting us know that our sound is good over on YouTube and the Runcation Nation over here, like Cheryl, it looks like George Reeves might be in the chat, and our executive producer in charge of hot sauces and hashtags, Josh, is monitoring on both YouTube and
I
Instagram.
like that modified title there. Hot sauces and hashtags.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah. And so I know I probably missed a bunch of people just jumping in here, but those are some people that I have seen over on Instagram. Rhonda Lee says she'd rather be where Chris Wiggs is.
Absolutely.
This time last year, we were actually with Rhonda Lee at Walt Disney World.
Yes, we were.
When she did her dopey challenge.
And the weather down here is lovely for racing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we're in the lows in the 50s, highs in the 70s here in
Mhm.
Florida. So it's
Yeah.
I think going to be a good weekend for everybody.
Yes.
Hopefully that holds true.
Yes, and hopefully I don't know, marathon weekend forecasts were talking about a little bit of rain this weekend
Mhm.
toward the end of the weekend, so I hope that is not I hope that that forecast shifts, let's just say, and is okay.
Yeah.
For all of the Runcation Nation that's out there doing those races, and I know that there are other race weekends going on this weekend. So good luck to anyone and everyone who is training for a race, running a race, being at uh, the big marathon weekend. Those
Mhm.
who are getting ready to return out to California. Um, and we have somebody new in Instagram. The handle is on the runs on the runs, and it says,
I see
"Hi,
what you did
guys."
there.
Hi well, we see what you do with your handle. It says, "Hi, guys. We're newbies to red here," and, like, applause, applause, applause. Love what you're doing. Love that you're doing the live. Drop your name in the chat, and Fitz Kohler friend of the show. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Where are you getting ready to go announce? And will the other half of Team Noisy be with you? That's what we want to
Exactly.
know. And we just love you and can't wait to get to the Donna Marathon weekend in February
Right.
uh, to get back to a finish line with Fitz.
Absolutely.
Could be a hashtag finish line with Fitz.
Ooh, it could be
Maybe
a
Josh
hashtag.
will approve. I don't know.
Let Josh workshop that one a little bit.
Yeah, let us know. You know, uh, Eric and Erica on the runs is Eric and Erica. And uh, who, where are you from and what are you drinking, Eric and Erica? Let
And
us know.
and since we asked the question, it's only
Oh,
appropriate
let me get my
that
glasses so I
we
can,
share what it is
you
we're
know,
drinking tonight.
yeah.
What we're doing for the lives, we for Christmas, I want to say thank you to my friend Tim, who is here locally here in Cape Coral. He got me um, a beer advent calendar. So 24, 25 beers in the advent calendar. And
Oh,
I don't drink daily, number one.
right.
And even if I were to drink more than maybe once a week, it's not always beer. So, oh, Josh came up with one for us. I'm putting it right there on the lower third.
Yes. Fits at the
I love
finish.
it.
Fits at the finish is,
He's got a knack.
and she will be at the finish. Speaking of this hashtag that he has so expertly put in our chat and you have put on the screen so well, uh, she will be at the Sarasota Marathon when we are racing out on the other coast next weekend. And then she will be at Donna and she will be at Gasparilla.
Okay.
But right now, she is in the um, Hottie Body Facebook group. She is hosting a challenge during the month of January. And I just want to shout her out here at the beginning because it can be very hard without a community to keep um, things that you say you're going to do at the beginning of the year
Resolutions.
going that are good for you, right? And I think that she is uh, supporting efforts for everyone.
Absolutely.
So, if you want to be a part of that group, I think the challenge is already going. So, I don't know if you can actually join anymore.
You can join the group, but I think the
But you can join the
challenge
group.
is already in progress.
And I think the group is just a wonderful uh, m- van- venue for support.
Absolutely.
So, and let's see, Eric and Erica are in New Hampshire and uh, will run for introduced. Oh, will run for introduced them to them, us to
Us
them
to
to
them,
us,
them
both
to us.
now. Well, both now. See, I can't. It's mm. um. Unfortunately, not drinking at the moment. But if I would, it would be a Sea Dog Blueberry Ale.
Very nice. Good
Eric and
choice.
Erica, well done,
Well,
well done.
we are doing something that's a little bit different. This is a brewer's advent calendar, and I believe that everything that they include in this advent calendar is from Europe. So I've got some beers here. I think we're going to be tasting these as we go or get back into the groove of doing regular live streams. So, the first one that we're going to be tasting tonight, or the one that we're going to be tasting tonight, is called Graminger Kirta, Kirta, and it looks like it's a Dunkelweiss, and it looks like it is 5% alcohol by volume. Let me
Yes,
show everybody the can here.
it is. It is. And I don't know, do I have I might have a little description,
That would be lovely, especially if it's in English.
uh, because you think it's gonna be in German?
The can is in German.
Okay. The can isn't you're correct. You're just you
Yeah.
sound like it was like a facetious type comment, just Anyway,
That's because it was.
5% ABV. Um, the dark Kurta Weiss beer. And do I have that right?
Weiss beer.
Weiss beer.
It's a Dunkelweiss.
Dunkelweiss was originally created as a fest beer for the Altrottenker Kurta. I hope I say that right, and I apologize to anyone, who can speak German and has, now broken ears because of the way I pronounce that. The addition of dark malt and roasted malt results in a rich mahogany color and a fruity malty flavor. Adept beer tasters will even notice a slight hint of chocolate. The Kurta white beer goes perfectly with hearty dishes, with dark sauces, such as roast beef, grilled beef loin, beer goulash. Want to know about that? Um, choc and chocolate desserts. The Kurta is a cloudy orange beer with a small white head when it is poured. Um, the aroma is mostly roasted malt as well as a light fruitiness. The taste is sweet, malty, and slightly fruity.
Very nice.
There we go.
Well, I've poured us a little sample in each one, and lovely glassware provided by Coastal Days Brewery.
Kate
Thank you.
PD has now joined our chat, so I do wanna take this opportunity to say, if you happen to indulge, please indulge responsibly.
Exactly.
Hmm, and, and also our friends from Pure Creative Apparel, so I wanna take, since we are in the introduction and what we're drinking, and generally this would be the shout out section, I just want to say, um, to our friends at Pure Creative Apparel, thank you so much for designing the custom shirts that I will wear, uh, in our races next weekend, which we'll talk more about later on in the show.
And she'll probably do a reveal sometime this week on social media.
Possibly.
So, um,
Like, you know how people do a flat me?
taste your beer.
It's really hard for me to do a flat me. I keep forgetting to do a flat me. Rhonda Lee says, "The beer has a beautiful color."
It does. This has, I would say, like it's a darker golden brown almost.
Mm.
There's a maltiness on the
There is.
nose, which
So
you
I
get right
think
away.
that the description of the malt, that is spot on. But I wanna know if we are adept beer drinkers that actually pick up the chocolate notes. I don't think I will
I do
get it.
not have a golden palate, much like I do not have golden ears for really super high-end
Matt
headphones.
the Runner has joined us.
Well,
Welcome.
hello, Mac. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you're drinking.
Mm.
Um,
And if you're over on Facebook or you're over on YouTube and you're dropping in, please, in the chat, say hello and introduce yourself like Eric and Erica from On the Runs.
that is there's a little smokiness to it.
I see what you mean. The carbonation is really effervescent there at the end,
Mhm.
and highlights the slight spice.
I would say medium body, high
Mhm.
carbonation,
Yeah.
slight smokiness or spiciness kind of thing at the end.
Yeah. Would you do you see where it would go well with meat?
I do. I don't know that I would do it with a burger, but like they said, roast beef, something
A
like that, a
loin?
loin, yeah, I
Mhm.
think that would be good,
Yeah.
because of the smokiness to it. So
Yeah.
it's very different. This is not a typical, certainly not an American lager, it's got a little bit of a
No.
heaviness to it.
Those are lighter
Yeah.
and more golden in color.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so this is more depth of flavor, and,
yeah.
I think that would be good with something like, say, a schnitzel, like something
Ooh.
like, roast beef, pot roast, something like that.
Do you think broth?
I wouldn't do that with brats.
No.
I would save
You're right, you're right.
lighter beer for brats. That there, personally, I think,
Yeah.
I'd go with, like, red meat. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
That is something else now. That's a complete contrast to what Fitz is doing over there in that group that we were
I
talking about just a
know,
second ago.
but she says she would love to have the Runcation Nation crew join the Hottie Body Fitness Challenge group page because there is a new competition in February. Do you see? She started in December. There was a step challenge in December, and shout out to JoJo, also a producer of the show, Positively Polly One on Instagram, and she was our team captain as we had a step challenge. And now there's a new challenge in January, and there'll be a new one in February. And I think that she's just going to keep this rolling.
Very nice. Drop a link to the group in the chat if you can, Fitz. That would be lovely. We can share it.
Yeah.
But you have some other shout outs.
Um, Rhonda Lee says that this beer has Rhonda Lee plans on joining the Hottie Body Challenge in February, and she says it sounds like that this is a good beer for barbecue season. It's 12 months of the year for her.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
12 months.
The smokiness of the
12
beer, I
months.
think,
Yes.
would augment or complement the smokiness of any barbecue that you're doing.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Mhm.
100%.
Additional shout out would be to Alan Young. He is he is a perfect Walt Disney World marathoner. So shout out to him. I've seen pictures on social media of him picking up his bib and saying it never gets easier. And I think that there was overwhelmingly positive support on Facebook to say, hey, it's it get you've got this. It's gonna be a great year for you. And so he and his lovely bride are both at Walt Disney World, and we may see them next weekend, hopefully.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. And if shout outs is a portion of our show that we typically do every week. If you would like a
Yes.
shout out for you or someone else that you love on the show, send us an email. Our email address is info@runeatdrink.net. That's info@runeatdrink.net. Or you can call us and leave us a message by calling
941-677-2733. That's 941-677-2733, because if you leave the voicemail of, like, 30 seconds maybe, then a minute, then we can actually load that sound on our soundboard and play your voice in the show.
yes. And we would love that. Audio is always
I
preferable
mean,
to us reading. So
you can attach the voice voice memos via email as well.
absolutely. That works out very well.
It's all
So,
good.
do us a favor and do that, and we can make you Runcation Nation famous.
Yes. Megan in Florida has joined us too, and, I hope we're getting, I hope we're okay over on Facebook. I have not been able to check that. But, if you are on Facebook, please drop us a comment.
Please, we love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So,
So
let's talk running, or I should say, let's talk kind of, about, let's talk about us.
let's talk about us. We love to talk about us. We've talked about you enough. No, we're kidding.
We have a kind of a New Year's tradition that we like to do because
Yes.
a lot of times we pick up new listeners and followers and friends right at the beginning of the year as people are setting new goals for themselves for their
Mhm.
fitness goals. They're looking for running podcasts. They're looking for runcation podcasts because they're going to plan their 2024 race calendar around these destination races that they're going to. So they come
Yes.
our way, and we spend usually the first episode of the year kind of just telling you all a little bit about ourselves and
Yeah.
how we got into this and why we do what we do.
And kind of the format of for our regular shows, let's say, that we put in our podcast feed. Uh, so we should talk about our running.
Okay,
Yeah? Wow. What happened?
I'm waiting for you to talk about our running.
Well, I mean, he always makes me go first, people, because I'm the one that roped him in, as he will tell you, to the run. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I those of you who are longtime followers of the show and listeners know that, oh my gosh, right there at the end of 2009, 2010, I got, uh, diagnosed with a, um, detached retina and had surgery, and at that time, I was very, very happy, and, uh, one of I used to be an English teacher, and, former student of mine actually was in the operating room as a nurse, and I'm probably dating and aging myself there as we speak, but, uh, and, and saw me, and I was kind of I mean, if I'm being honest, I was kind of like, "Something needs to change," you know?
Mhm.
Um, little bit about, like when Chris Darling was on our show and recapped Bird in Hand, it is, um, he he did it because he wanted to be healthier. He saw his wife go through a health scare, and then they turned it around. It was kind of like that for me. So, I wanted to celebrate healthier eating habits and, um, losing weight at that time, not with a big celebratory meal, but with a run. So, we, uh, participated in a local 5K, and then I said, "Well, what is this Run Disney thing? We should do it." And I said, it's a whole half. It's a whole half of a marathon, but,
We
uh,
weren't good on the lingo at that time.
but it's a relay. There's a relay event. We could do it, and, we could split the race half and half, and it wouldn't be that bad. And so Dana said, "Okay, well, you're motivated. I can see that, and so I will split that race with you."
Little did I know the split was not half and half, it was 8 and 5.
No.
8.1 and
Well,
5, let me be clear.
yeah, I did the 5 miles. Anyway,
Yeah.
and then we were bitten by the bug, and um we started to do Run Disney races and then started to branch out and see that there is this whole world of running, and run walkers are welcome. So, we did that and started to branch out, and I do agree, Rondalee, that there's lots of fitness and running royalty here in the chat today. So, I oh, and Fitz says, "Remind me to tell you about my half relay debacle."
Oh,
I like to know about that story later.
I would too.
So we started to do 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons,
Trained for a
trained for
marathon.
a marathon, but got sick right beforehand, so we really couldn't do it. But
I cured myself of the marathon bug, by the way, that's the way you do it. Do all the training and then get sick, and at that time, a certain
Mark, welcome.
race that's hosted at the happiest place on earth did not offer any sort of refund or deferral.
Mm, well,
Eh,
no,
so
no,
I
no.
I officially cured myself of the desire to ever run another marathon. Just saying,
Alright,
just saying.
yeah. So, at any rate, um, we eh, I think we were walking the dogs, and we "Hi, Mark," and that is an accurate serving size for pizza, yes, a whole half. Um,
Love it.
Jeff Galloway Jeff Galloway is in our chat? Oh! So, let me back up before we talk about the walking the dogs situation and say that Jeff Galloway, America's coach and our coach, is amazing. And when we did our first ever half marathon at Disney, at the Walt Disney World weekend, marathon weekend, speaking of, we, uh, we discovered him at the expo when there were talks, when there were longer talks, like,
Mhm.
"We're gonna go over the course," or "Here's nutrition," or "Here's" um tips for race day, or then, they had key speakers talking. We saw him, we did that race, we finished that race, we, suffered, we suffered.
Yeah, we didn't have a real plan for tackling that distance other than we had been training and we kinda thought we were ready, and then we got there, and I had that moment where, at the end of the race, you're shivering, but you're sweating and just, it felt like a
Uh-huh.
truck hit me, and I'm like, yeah, I about cured myself of running half
Wearing those little
marathons too.
foil blankets, and just
It
it
was
was crazy.
awful,
It was
awful.
crazy.
And Jeff, getting introduced to Jeff and the run,
Mhm.
walk, run method and all that actually made it possible for me to continue doing running and not hate it as much.
Exactly. And so we downloaded the first version of his, Lolo app,
Mhm.
and I believe that Lolo has supported the current version or iteration of the app. Also, an excellent tool, and, it has lots of training plans in it, and that kinda thing, but, we downloaded that and we followed his run walk ratio, and I think we just fell in love with that method, and how it could support us through our running goals. So
Yeah, and you've been a regular coaching client of Jeff's for several years now. So,
mhm, and Rhonda Lee says, "Jeff and the Galloway method is one of the reasons why I am a runner and was able to complete the Dopey challenge last year. Will always be grateful." So, that is excellent. Um, Lolo is not LOW, but it
no, I'm
is,
I'm dropping it in the chat there
yeah,
for you. Yeah.
LOLO, but it is on the App Store, and there were versions for different distances.
Yeah, 5K, 10K, half marathon, and full marathon. There were 4 versions of the app. What I liked about it is you
Yeah,
could put if you had music that was your own, that you owned on your phone at the time, you could add that music to your playlist, and it would speed up and slow down the music
yeah,
based on the cadence you were going for in your run without making it sound like you had Alvin and the Chipmunks singing, whatever your song du jour was going to be. So,
that's entirely
it
true.
was a really nice tool for that.
Yes. So, and now, they I mean, if you search for that, you'll find it,
Oh, yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
on any platform.
The apps are still there, so
So and the new ones too.
mhm.
So you can look, and you can decide for yourself what is a good tool for your goals to accomplish. So I just wanted to highlight that because that is how we've been able to run since we were introduced to his method
Yeah.
at that first half marathon. So, and, we we traveled, and we would ask other runners about where are the places to run, eat, drink, what are the amazing places to go.
Yeah, you end up striking up conversation with people at their expos or, around your hotel. You run into your fellow runners, you
Mhm,
see other people carrying the gear bag, you know that they're there for the same thing you are. There's kind of an instant bond, and
mhm.
it's a great icebreaker, and then those conversations naturally happen.
Yes, and that led us to where we're out walking the dogs one day and said, "There should be a show that tells people where to go and do those things."
Absolutely, and, great question, Richard just posed in the chat over on Facebook, starting from 0, would you go for a half or start at a 5K? I would say start at the 5K only
Yeah,
because you're gonna have to run that 5K distance as part of a broader training program for a half marathon anyway,
anyway, yeah.
so, why not? And you're gonna get to that 5K distance surprisingly quickly in your training. Even if you're starting from the couch, you'll be shocked at just how quick you'll be doing the 5K in no time.
Yeah,
But yeah, so we were talking about
injury free
the
too.
the ability or those conversations and finding those things, and one day we were out walking the dogs,
Yes.
and this conversation came up, and I'm like, "Well, there's your podcast idea," because she was thinking about doing a podcast,
Yeah.
and she started, on the next race, shooting some prototype footage and doing some prototype recording and
Ooh.
kind of figuring out what the format was going to be and what exactly we'd be covering and how. And once we settled on it for the first year of the show, in fact, if you go back to episode 1 in our feed
Yes.
to this day, we were a video podcast because her talents professionally were very heavily involved in video editing, teaching people how to edit video,
Long time.
and that was what we were doing. We were doing it as a video podcast, and
Yeah.
it wasn't until about a year of doing the show we started getting a lot of feedback from our listeners out in Runcation Nation, and most of them were telling us
Mm.
that, you know, "Oh, I listen to you when I'm driving, or I listen to you when I'm doing something, or I'm out for a run." And, we're like, "Well, what'd you think of the video?" Or they would ask, "There's a section in the show where
Just
there's all this
music.
music." Well, that's because if you look at your screen, there's an actual video playing, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't even know." So
Wow.
so we ended up changing the format after about a year and went from a video podcast to an audio format, and then just doing some little videos to augment, the
Mhm.
content for, social media. And then, once we started doing this more and more, we end up going to a race weekend. Pick any one.
Mm.
There are hours of footage, hundreds of photos taken,
Really?
and menu
Seriously?
items that we will try that are wonderful but don't make the show. So we said, we've got all this other really amazing stuff. There's gotta be something we can do with that. So then when we ended up getting onto Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee
Mhm.
and the patron program through Podbean, we've got some extra bonus stuff for our Runcation Nation that they'll really enjoy, and
Yeah.
we've gotten great feedback on that over the last several years of doing the show.
Yes. So, normally, we go to a race and we run it, and then now that we're an audio podcast, we kind of break down the registration process, the swag bag, the course itself, the bling, which you're very bling driven, so
Mhm.
that's an important part of our recap and
An important part of any race, just saying.
right. And then we talk about and highlight places to what we now call, after accomplishing your goal, exploring local food, beverage, exploring local eats, and indulging in local beverages. And it could be alcoholic, non-alcoholic, it could be coffee and indulging in, you know, caffeine in the morning after the race before you have to travel home, or just things that you you cross that finish line and then you celebrate by seeing the sights around the town that were not on the race course,
Mhm.
or uh, going where the locals go to get the best celebratory meals.
Yeah, and what we do, one thing that we decided really from the inception was that there's plenty of negativity out there on the internet. I know that's surprising.
Is it shocking to you? Let us know in the
Um,
comments.
However, we said we're not gonna contribute to that, so we don't do, like, general purpose reviews.
Yeah.
We gather information, we ferret out the good spots to go to, and we feature those. So if it makes the show,
Right.
it's something that we loved, and not just
Yes.
liked, but loved, 'cause there've
Yes.
been plenty of items that we've liked. We're like, "But would this make the show? Eh,
Mhm.
no." Um, and that happens all the time.
And since Pure Creative Apparel and, Pam and Ariel are in the chat, we have to say really, really a heartfelt thank you to them, because I think without them, because Ariel does fantastic design work, and we told them maybe 3 or 4 episodes in what we're doing,
Mhm.
and they're the ones who designed our logo and have, our apparel up on purecreativeapparel.com. and they have designed specialty gear for certain race weekends that we happen to support and return to, or ones that are just unique in some way. Um, uh, it's phenomenal what they did for us to give us an identity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're
So,
fantastic people.
Jojo, welcome.
Can't say enough.
Welcome, executive producer. Jojo.
Executive producer.
Jojo.
Okay.
Oh, associate
Associate
producer. You
producer.
know what I
Yes.
mean.
But if you look her up, she's actually on IMDb
Yeah.
as associate producer for the show. So
And Rhonda Lee says she always loves and appreciates the positivity of our show, um, and why we showcase, and that is true. So we we're generally positive, but we're also honest.
oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, if there's
It just
something, at the race itself that, we need to let you know about, we do, but, when it comes to finding food and beverage
Mhm.
places, I mean, we're showing you stuff that we found that we really love in that particular city or town, and we've
Right.
been everywhere across the country from Key West, Florida to Anchorage, Alaska, so, we're in the continental United States plus Alaska, we haven't been to Hawaii yet, and we haven't gone out of the country.
But speaking of Hawaii, shout out to Babs who completed the, Honolulu Marathon there. Nice. In
Absolutely.
the Runcation Station. So
So, we do have some suggestions for you. If you're looking for episodes where you can get a good flavor, for the show, um
I just wanna suggest, um, I believe it was, episode 4
yes.
where, um, we had Jeff Galloway on a video episode.
Mhm.
We drove to Orlando where he was giving a talk on the Run Rock Run method at, the Track Shack,
Yep.
and there's a series of episodes and quick bites, and we and if you watch the video, I know you're probably running and you might want to listen, but if you do watch the video, which is still in our feed, you can actually see me get super nervous
Oh, yeah.
from start to finish, and you
Super
can,
starstruck.
oh my gosh, and you can see like I get really red when I am nervous. Like, you could tell in my neck and on my ears when I'm talking to him because he is just such an inspiration to me and has supported us in every way and is just an all around outstanding human.
Absolutely.
So, um, I would say that is a theme that runs throughout the last almost 7 years.
Yeah. Um, Now we've been lucky since doing this show over the last several years, we've had the opportunity to interview luminaries in the running world like Jeff Galloway, like Meb Keflezighi, who introduced us at the top of the show, like Fitz Kohler, who is in the chat tonight, and Jeff Galloway, like I just said,
Mhm.
who's in the chat
Oh
also.
my
But we also got the opportunity, back on episode 162 to interview Catherine Switzer,
yes.
who's
Mar
also kind of a big deal in the running world.
Marathon women, what can I say? And we've also had the opportunity to go back in the to go a little bit back before we got her because we had to negotiate, um, time zones for her
We did.
before we did her episode, we or actually 2 episodes, she gave us so much that we broke it up into 2, um, and we went back we interviewed Meb Keflezighi at Gasparilla. Fitz dropped that in the chat that she was gonna be there at the end of next month.
Mhm.
It's an amazing race and expo because you meet here's Meb, here's silver medalist, here's he's I mean, ugh. There it is, the starstruck thing again, which, Erica, from On the Runs says she gets starstruck as well, so
Yeah, absolutely. And then last but not least, episode 220, we talked with 2022 Boston Marathon finisher Adrian Haslett.
Yes, and actually, that's part 1, and, 221 is part 2, and right around those numbers, we had the awesome privilege to talk with, Dave McGilvery,
Mhm.
famed Boston Marathon race director, and we've interviewed chefs like Art Smith,
Yeah.
and, uh, and we've also just had great chats with some brewmasters and head brewers, like, from Eulalie and,
Tim Shackton.
Tim Shackton from Eulalie and just, amazing people like Chef Art Smith. And we've talked with recently, we have started to do Runcation recaps with all of you, another evolution in the history of our show. And I just love, like, Dean and Judy Gerber, recapping the Keys 100 along with his sister Lindy. And it is just inspiring to hear your stories as well, and can't wait to incorporate more of those. I'll say this for all of the there are tons of episodes that recap race weekends um, mm, like the Disneyland races before the pandemic, like Alaska, like you're talking about the Anchorage Run Fest,
Mhm.
the Donna Marathon weekend. I think Josh dropped in the chat, the, the epic live that turned into an episode when the Runcation Nation reached out to us and sent us a gift basket,
Yes.
and, um, the one where Josh sent us hot sauces.
Yeah, we get to taste our way through the hot sauces from Hot Ones.
Yes,
So,
while we talked about tips for running.
yes.
So, it's just some things are crazy that we've done that are inspiring, that you have contributed as a Runcation Nation, so I just have to say, um, our show has morphed over the last 7 years, but we are still talking about running, eating, drinking, and inspiring, um, such inspiring content that we've been privileged to bring to, our show.
Absolutely. And the show will continue to evolve
Yeah.
as the experience in running continues to evolve as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And speaking of running, I'm gonna be getting out to do a run here because
Oh,
we only have about 13 minutes left before
oh,
the Instagram gods kick us off
no. Oh,
because we're only allowed to stream for an hour on
no. Okay.
Instagram at any given time. But before I go out for my run, since I had just the tiniest sip of beer,
Okay.
I've got to offset that. And
You
I've
do,
got to
you
have
do.
something that's going to help me out here. And with, January is a time where a lot of our listeners are, planning ahead with, eyes for towards goals that you've set. You don't want to call it a resolution, that's okay. But we get it. Life can get busy and it can be very hard to stay focused on those goals. But this little shot right here called
Yeah.
Magic Mind.
If you're watching live, then you get to see the little shot and the color
Yeah,
and
this has helped me with my focus and, energy, and it hasn't contributed to any insomnia, which is meaning it's not like, taking one of those energy drinks that you
Mhm.
typically see or energy shots that you often see that are loaded with, you know, caffeine and taurine and whatever just all that other stuff, but this little shot of Magic Mind, which is, matcha green tea and cordyceps and lion's mane,
Mushrooms,
these
yeah.
things help, maintain focus, give me a boost of energy. When we get done with our live stream tonight,
Mm,
I'm going to go pound the pavement for about an hour and then
mhm.
shower and bed. And I'm not going to have any problem with that, and I love that about Magic.
Well, I will tell you, I have been, yes, drinking coffee still because if the Runcation Nation knows me,
Oh, absolutely.
I drink coffee in the morning, but what's good about Magic Mind for me is that I've been using it as a complement. I'll drink the coffee, head out for the run in the morning, and then when I get to work, before I start work, 'cause I start later in the day than you do, I will have the shot of Magic Mind, and it really helps me maintain focus at work while balancing training and making sure that we still have time for our show and for us. So I love it. You sound like you are on board.
I am on board.
And we just want to thank everybody at Magic Mind because it, we wholeheartedly recommend it. And with our code, which is Run Eat Drink 20, that's Run Eat Drink 20, and at our special and unique link, magicmind.com/JAN Run Eat Drink.
All one word. JAN, like January, run, eat, drink. One word.
You can save on your subscription, 20%, or if you, well, actually 56%
On a
on
subscription.
subscription and
Right.
20% on a one-time purchase, but it's actually even better now because in the month of January, there are 2 additional benefits,
Mhm.
2 of them, and one is if you do a 3-month subscription, then they're giving a month for free,
Yes.
and at that unique code, that unique link and using our unique code, magicmind.com/Jan, Jan, Run, Eat, Drink, then whatever you contribute, that, the 10% of it, what the 10%
Your
of that
savings.
will be given to the Donna Foundation.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So
That to me is phenomenal. So remember the code is Run Eat Drink 20 and it's magicmind.com/JAN Run Eat Drink. And thank you to everybody at Magic Mind for sponsoring this week's show.
mm.
So um, well, that's kind of a look back at us. Looking forward,
Yeah.
we do have a couple of things coming up, uh, big races. We have Disneyland coming up just next week.
The return to this week has been the Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend. It's their time right now. I think tomorrow is the 10K, and then, the half and full are this weekend. And and, um, next weekend, gosh, I was trying to think just now how long it's been since the Disneyland races have been hosted out there in California.
I don't remember which year they stopped. I wanna say
2017?
2017, if I remember correctly. I think it's been 6 years.
So they're
7
back.
years technically now.
So they're back, and we are gonna go out there, and we are gonna bring you what that return is like, and I'm very excited to do that. And of course, where the Runcation Nation had its first ever meetup, which is the Donna Marathon Weekend, hosted every February,
Donna Marathon in February in Jacksonville, Florida.
and that's coming back. We're on our schedule this February, so it's what, a month out now
Yes.
as of this weekend? And we're so excited to have that back in our schedule and to, highlight the Donna, to contribute to the Donna through our Magic Mind link, um, where
Plus, we'll be doing some other things
yeah,
to support the Donna Foundation here
coming
coming soon.
soon.
Stay
Very,
tuned for that.
very, very soon, very soon. And, of course, we have to have redemption in our schedule because uh, we were ill and could not attend the Jeff Galloway Half Marathon Weekend last year. And,
I couldn't attend.
well, I got sick then, you got sick, so
Oh,
it
oof.
was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So, we missed out, and I, yeah, I put it on our schedule, and we are going back to the Jeff Galloway Half Marathon Weekend. Listen to me, I'm tongue-tied because I'm so excited.
You haven't had that much beer.
It's our first live in so long, I'm tongue-tied. But, yeah, it's the Jeff Galloway Half Marathon Weekend. St. Patrick's Day is gonna be a great partying weekend there, and, also, we are, um, w we're planning other things on our schedule. And at runneatdrink.net, we have a running page where we put our schedule. And JoJo, who is a producer of our show, she has said here in the chat, where else are we meeting up this year? And I wanted to ask her if she's still in the chat. You are planning on a St. Jude race in December. Yes? I believe that's in Memphis, and that will be, um, a big year for you. So, we need to talk to you about possibly meeting up with you there, and, we hear a little bit about this little race in August called Bridge of the Gods. We know we have to redeem our race schedule in September and get back and finally do Bird in Hand because Chris Darling's race recap was amazing, and we hear about it from the Extra Mile podcast group and so many out there, including the Will Run For folks as well. Um, and JoJo says it's 10 years supporting St. Jude, so she's gonna be at the Memphis race, and, um, that's in December, and, we have to make plans for that. We
Absolutely.
definitely have to make plans for that.
But what we have to make plans for immediately is what I would call a smooth segue into transitioning to our exit from this week's show because
Aw.
we are running out of time on our live stream on Instagram, and we want to make sure that everybody gets the full episode. So,
Okay.
we're going to have links to everything that we've talked about tonight in most everything we've talked about tonight in the
Oh,
show
yeah.
notes.
Yes, yes.
I've also dropped in the chat. I highly recommend you check out our um, website at runeatdrink.net. That's runeatdrink.net. You can get information on races, products, our sponsors, everything right there.
Mhm.
We do detailed show notes for every episode so
Mm,
that if you're listening, you don't have to worry about pausing and going over and Googling something that we just mentioned.
that's true.
So we try to link to everything so that you guys can get all of the information and not miss out.
And if we miss anything, info at runeatdrink.net, let us know, and we can go back in there and add it,
Absolutely.
just
So
so everything is complete.
exactly.
Yes. So, next week, we will have more accomplishing, exploring, and indulging, and, please remember to give Magic Mind a try
Yes.
and, use our link, magicmind.com/Jan Run Eat Drink, and our code RUNEATDRINK20. And, that, 10% of what you spend on your, uh, on your purchase with Magic Mind, that goes to the Donna Foundation during the month of January, and you get a month free with a subscription. So, um, you all have a great night. And, Cheryl, if you don't have anything in your race calendar for August, we should talk about this Bridge of the Gods situation and a meetup with the rest of the Runcation Nation. In the meantime, thank you for joining us on your long run, your commute to work, around the house, or live on our first live of 2024 and more to come. We usually do them weekly. I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
Stay safe and well, and we will accomplish, explore, and indulge with you really soon. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having another great year thanks to your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Run, Eat, Drink Podcast. And on Twitter, we're Run, Eat, Drink Pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or send us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Find out how you can support the show at patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.